Welcome to part 4 of our TuffShed to gym conversion. In the last video, I was going through the trenching process so we could run the electrical wire from the house out to our gym. And that was way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. In fact, I think I may have actually said that almost word for word. That is way more difficult than I had anticipated it being. So I borrowed a friend's tractor, so we're lucky enough to have good friends in the area, and one of them has a tractor. And we borrowed his tractor and I dug the trench with it. So we have a trench. And that should make the run pretty easy from the house out to the gym. I also spent some more time in the gym getting the insulation done. And here we are. The insulation is all done on the sidewalls. Looking pretty good. This right here was an absolute mess because the studs are far apart, so one width of this R13 insulation would not fit, and it would keep falling down even when I put the other one right next to it. And it was like this whole mess. I was very frustrated. By the end of it, I was hating fiberglass insulation, but I finally got it to work, so that should be good. And we also got some foam insulation. We're going to use this on the ceiling here to insulate that with a little bit of an air gap. And we also got our paneling that we're going to use on the sidewalls. And we're going to use white paneling against the walls. And then this is this really cool wood kind of paneling. And we're going to use the wood paneling on the ceiling. So white with wood. I think it's going to contrast really well with our ceiling fan. And I think it's going to look great. But as you can see, we have some insulation left over. Yeah, a lot. But this is not faced insulation whatsoever, so we can't really use this all over. We're using the faced stuff here, and then we're just filling in the gaps with this stuff. There's a gap here that I filled in, over here, up there. And getting the ceiling all situated, I think, is what we're going to do next. Leave this here. It's great. Nice.
Perfect, huh?
That looks pretty good.
Perfect.
That looks pretty good.
A little over?
No, it's fine. It's just the hole needs to get, this hole needs to get a little bigger.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh.
So my dad was here helping me with this part of the project because it's nice to have 3 people when you're doing work on the ceiling because it's kind of awkward to get there. So we got the foam insulation up most of the way. As you can see, we actually underbought, so we have to go back and buy some more foam insulation. So the sides aren't done yet, but we're focusing on the peak and the immediate part of the ceiling coming down from the peak. And on that side, we have the panels up. And we're doing this dark wood accent feature theme thing on the ceiling, and then white, of course, along the sidewalls. So I think that contrast will be really cool to see. But as you can see, we did our best kind of cutting out the holes there. I used a Dremel tool to cut the hole through the paneling for our light fixtures, as you can see. We had to cut around the fan fixture there, but I think that turned out pretty good. So all in all, I mean, this is a bit of a learning experience, but coming along. Whew, it is cold and windy outside, but as you can see, we got the lights working, we got the fan working as well. Again, I didn't film that because my dad was here. We were just plowing through it. I didn't want to take the time to film, so didn't show you all of those steps, but these lights were super easy. The fan was a little bit more complicated because of all the moving parts, but really that wasn't so bad either. So we have power to the building, we have the lights working, we have the fan working, and let me show you one thing that we changed from the first video. In the first video, I was just going to use this junction box and combine these two wires together, but I didn't have a breaker box, I didn't have a shutoff or anything. But we have a GFCI outlet here, which is the first one that the power is going to come to into the GFCI outlet, so we can turn everything off just by this reset button and then turn it back on again. So this is a nice little safety measure that we have included in our building. But everything else works the same. It just comes out to that outlet. There's another outlet back there, another outlet here, and then the lights and the fan outlets are here. And as you can see, I tried nailing up one of the panels for the sidewalls. It worked. It went up just fine. However, nailing all these finish nails with a hammer is a pain in the butt. I almost broke my thumb because I'm not a skilled, gifted hammerer, especially with finishing nails. So we actually bought a nail gun that we're going to get today, and I'm going to get some finishing nails for it, so the nailing process for all of this type of work will be super, super easy. And the other thing we're going to get is a trim router, so we can just trim around here and all of these windows up there, so that will allow us to just put the board up without like pre-cutting the holes for the windows. We just hammer the board up, the panel up, then cut out the spots for the windows with a trim router, which will make that really easy. Don't have one of those either, but we're getting one. So, the more of these projects you go through, the more tools and stuff that you require. So all subsequent projects will be a little bit easier. So, yeah, it's an expense, but it's also an investment. And by the way, we've been getting some comments about how we did the electrical runs here and how we're doing it all wrong. We appreciate those comments. We're taking each one as they come. In fact, that's why we have a GFCI outlet in here as well. So we are correcting things as we go. So I appreciate those comments. Keep them coming. I want to learn here as we go. Not an electrician. I don't know all the codes. Just don't. So, yep. Thanks for the comments, keep them coming, and we're going to continue rolling forward with this process. But so far, so good. Alright, that's it for this video, but before I leave you, I want to show you 3 new additions to the Power Tools family here on the homestead. First, circular saw, which I probably should have had before. I've just been doing all my cuts with a jigsaw, but I think a circular saw, especially with some of the longer cuts on the panels for the sidewalls, those cuts will just be easier with a circular saw. So I finally got a circular saw. And I also got a nail gun. This is a pin nailer, which means the nails are very, very, very small. They're finishing nails, you could hardly see them. They're going to be, it's going to be great for, again, the panels on the sidewalls. I've already started using it. It's made a world of difference. Almost slamming off my thumb a few times trying to nail in every single nail on one of the panels I put up really convinced me to get a nail gun. And last but not least, this is a trim router. Thanks again, Dad, for suggesting that we get one of these. This makes little cuts so unbelievably easy. And we're going to show you how all of these work. Well, you probably know how a circular saw would work in a nail gun, but I'm going to start using all these in the next video, but I've already started here a little bit, and boy, this makes it so easy. I love trim routers. Alright, that's it in the next video. Lots of paneling around the sidewalls, really getting this thing to look and feel like it's almost finished. So that's coming up, and we'll see you in the next video.